When government opened its land claims process, it received around 80,000 claims by the December 1998 deadline. An amendment to the Restitution of Land Rights Act allowed for the second round of land claims intended to run between July 2014 and June 2019. But a constitutional court ruling earlier this year found that amendment to be unconstitutional, affecting thousands of new land claimants. Joining us from our Cape Town studios is Annalise Crosby, legal and policy advisor to agricultural industry organisation Agri SA. A very good afternoon to you, Annalise. So how many claims have been lodged during the second round, and what will happen to these claims given this recent ruling?
Around 165,000 new claims have been lodged. That's since July of 2014. What will happen now, following the Constitutional Court judgment, is that these claims will remain in the system. They remain valid, but the Land Claims Commission has been interdicted from dealing with these claims until such time as they have either finalised all the old order claims or new legislation has been passed by Parliament to once again reopen the land claims process. So for now, all the Land Claims Commission is allowed to do is to acknowledge receipt of these claims.
So how much would you say government has spent so far on these land claims, and what is the kind of budget needed in order to complete another round of land claims?
Thus far as I could find out, around 30.8 billion rand has been spent on restitution. The estimates were, when the reopening happened, that around 180 billion rand would be required to deal with all the new claims.
And looking at the thousands of land claims that have been lodged in both rounds, according to the Minister of Land Reforms, and there's more than 8,000 first-round land claims that are yet to be settled. What kind of impact will this have on the sustainability of the agricultural sector?
What is concerning to us is that land claims cause insecurity. And that is bad for investment, because farming is a long-term business. Many of the crops you plant it now, but you only harvest in 7 or 10 years' time. So you need certainty as to what will happen over that period. So now with the new claims process, the uncertainty will prevail until all the new claims have been finalised, and gathering from how long it's taken to finalise the old ones, that can take us another 30, 40 years into the future with the uncertainty and the impact thereof on investment.
Talking about uncertainty, and my intro was talking about the unconstitutionality of the second round. Why was the second round found unconstitutional?
It was basically on procedural grounds that the Constitutional Court ruled the Amendment Act unconstitutional. What happened is that the second House of Parliament, the National Council of Provinces, did not follow the procedures for public consultation as required by the Constitution. And on that basis it was ruled unconstitutional. The reason, however, why the applicants took the matter to court in the first place is because they were not happy that the old order claims were being prioritised properly in the Amendment Act. So they were worried as to what was going to happen to the old claims.
So what happens next now, Annalise? Will we see attempts to have these land claims be reopened in a constitutional manner?
Yes, certainly. From what I have heard in Parliament, the intention is to now again pass the legislation. It will once again have to go through both houses of Parliament, and it has to do so within the 24-month period. But certainly I think government intends to reopen the process once again. The Constitutional Court had no problem with the reopening as such in principle, only with a process that wasn't followed properly. So it is likely that we will see another Amendment Act, and that the 2019 period, because that's the new cut-off date, is likely then to be extended further.
To what extent would you say government and business are working together in order to see land reform being passed or land policy being passed and executed?
There is a lot of cooperation. Personally, I think there could be more. I think we could do better, but we are consulted by government on most of these policies. On some, we have managed to influence the outcomes of the policies, on others not. There are a couple of policies or draft policies that we're still quite concerned about. As far as the execution is concerned, some of the Agri-SA affiliates such as Grain SA and the wool growers partner with government to assist them in getting the emerging farmers productive and making sure that land reform is a success. But there is probably room for even more cooperation and for a true partnership between government and the private sector.
Well, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us. That was Annalise Crosby, Legal and Policy Advisor to Agricultural Industry Organisation Agri-SA.